All right. Here's one of those new ones.
Okay.
Should work now.
What does that mean?
Now you're on. Now it's happening.
I don't see anything.
If anyone's listening, we got this.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to see. Not saying I'm doubting you, but there's a very good chance that I'm doubting.
Now it's happening.
I don't see anything.
If anyone's listening, we got this.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, we're going to see. All right, here we go. So where's that? Where are you picking that up? You're picking that all the way up over here?
Is that secrets? Secrets of...
Good secrets?
Yeah.
Looks like you're frozen up here. All right, we're going to let a couple people join here real quick. So what's going on, guys? Want to talk to you guys briefly today. As you're coming on, do me a favor and let me know where you're coming in from so we can say hello, shout you out right here between myself and Elisa. We got you covered. Also, you know, show us some love. Share the video out there. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up, do the hearts, do all that stuff, because the bottom line is the more you engage with the video, the more Facebook's going to put it out in front of our audience out there, and we can help build the audience up here. With all that said, let's talk here. Let's just kind of jump into it, and then when we get done, I'll come back and answer a lot of your questions here. Let's talk about the Find and Flip Summit that happened this weekend, because hands down, without question, was the greatest event we've ever put on. I'm not going to tell you that it was the greatest event ever put on, but it was pretty amazing. At the end of the day, hey, will you shut that door right there, since those guys are out there selling and crushing and talking so loud I can already hear them in here. Sorry, we're actually doing business while we're doing business, so bear with us. Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about the event, kind of tell you my thoughts, maybe share with you some of the insights I got out of there, you know, kind of off the top of my head, and who were the guys that were, and girls that were killing it, and you know, what were the big takeaways? So at the end of the day, we started on Friday with myself and Sean Terry, Brett Tanner, and Grant Cardone all going. And when we all went, you're gonna have to get that door too. Each and every one of us shared some really, you know, important stuff. Probably the biggest thing that I like to share at these events and make sure people are clearly aware of is that the single biggest thing that will enable them to be successful and or hold them back is what's going on in between their ears. And very few people are comfortable flexing this muscle and exercising this muscle and getting this muscle right to a place where they can actually empower themselves to go make good decisions that put them in a place where they live, you know, this extraordinary life and actually go build the business. So I started the day off really talking about that and how important, hey Leslie, what's going on from Mesquite, Texas? Glad you made it. I started out talking about that and making sure that everybody understood that we were going to pour a lot in, you know, into this event, and that everybody needed to get their head straight. I shared with everybody a really important concept that's worked great in my life and in the lives of many, many people that I've worked with over the years, and that is starting with the end in mind, right? Identifying what your perfect day is and kind of working backwards from there, going through the exercises to create that opportunity. Then Sean Terry came up and started talking about his #1 lead source for his business right now. He runs, if you don't know Sean is the founder of Flip to Freedom. Runs a very successful podcast, very successful wholesaling business, very successful education business, and is a business partner of mine and one of the co-founders of Boardroom along with me. And so Sean got up there and talked about specifically one of the biggest lead generation opportunities that we've seen in a long time. This is a ringless voicemail opportunity out there. And yes, it's early. Yes, it's still being explored. Yes, people are still trying to figure out what you can and can't do out there. But the reality of it is it is driving his cost per lead down dramatically. And he shared a lot about what that looks like, how that's tracked, and what the functionality of that system is in there. A lot of questions, a lot of people really trying to intrigued, trying to figure out how they can get on top of that. So it was really, really cool. Brett Tanner, one of the most successful real estate brokers in the world out there, certainly inside of the Keller Williams organization, as well as an amazing business owner who owns multiple businesses across multiple different arenas. He came in and shared his #1 lead source, which is cold calling, as well as his process for how he adds businesses on and creates all of these different opportunities inside of his world. So it was really, really insightful. And then, of course, last but not least was Grant Cardone, who, if you don't know who Grant Cardone is, he is an amazing guy, an amazing speaker. He and his wife. What's up, Mario from Canada? What's going on, brother? He is up. I know Patrick Precourt's coming in from Connecticut right here. I'm just trying to kind of watch as people come on. Again, guys, do me a favor and give us a thumbs up or a heart out there. Share it so that Facebook will do, you know, some of the heavy lifting here for us and get this video out there. Anyway, Grant Cardone's message was really simple. This is a guy that's built a massive net worth by going off and building multiple streams of income. He runs a very successful education company, sales education company. He runs as well as a very, very successful investment business where he's going off and buying multifamily. And I asked him to come in for one specific reason. I have a tendency to relate to his story at some level. Him and his wife, being a power couple, I relate to his journey. I relate to putting it all in and not taking your foot off the gas and just going for it at an obscene level constantly. And I can tell you, when he spoke up there, I felt very small, which was great because it was challenging to me. It made me understand just how small I'm still playing. You know, a lot of you watching this, or if you watched me over the years, you think I play big. And this is a guy that made me feel like, man, I'm not even remotely in the game, which was amazing for me personally, because I wanted to be thinking bigger and I wanted to surround myself. So he had a profound impact on me. And he really talked about one thing. That it just comes down to committing. That if you commit and just simply say, I'm not going backwards, and not only am I committing, but I'm going to commit to play full out and at the biggest level I can possibly play, then kind of, you know, you're on the right path. You're going in the right direction, and you'll figure the rest of it out as you go, and you'll surround yourself with the people that'll support that. So it was a great, great message, very, very powerful message as well. Again, on day one, we had a marketing panel that was really, really powerful. A lot of our most successful boardroom members from all over the country came in and shared their best ideas, whether it was direct mail, SEO, cold calling, whatever it was. What's the best lead generation idea they've gotten? I know people that were in the audience were pretty taken back by that and how open they were in sharing all their best stuff. Day two, we started off with Elena Cardone, who absolutely killed it. Elena Cardone, Grant's wife, came in and talked at length about what it's like to be the other half of that very powerful couple and how they support each other, how they keep it on track, how they have committed to each other to living their best life and having an impact on billions of people around the world and doing good and sharing their journey and sharing their life and the ups and downs of all of that. And that I thought was was great here. Let me see who else has come on here. Mark, what's up, brother? Jerry Green, what is going on, my man? Jeff from St. Louis, what's going on? Ruth Parker, good to see you. Glad you guys all made it. We're kind of just talking for a few minutes here about Find and Flip and my thoughts, you know, about the event in general. So after Elena, we had my brother Chris Clothier came up and he shared what it takes to build a really big business. Now, if you don't know Chris and my other brother Brett, as well as my father Kent Sr., they run Memphis Invest, you know, this huge umbrella company that really has operations in Memphis and Dallas and Houston, Oklahoma City, and Little Rock, Arkansas. They're flipping 650 to 750 properties every year. They've got a property management company that's now at 5,000, almost 5,000 properties. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing, and they have just going in many, many different directions all simultaneously while this big machine just keeps moving up the ladder. And as you can imagine, doing that takes a certain amount of skill. And there's a lot of lessons to be learned with that. What Chris did is he came in and a recent thing that he did, which is go and attempt to run an ultra marathon down in Key West, or in the Keys, I should say, and completed 61 of the 100 miles, which by anybody's measure is an amazing feat that he accomplished, but he only left in and tried to get to accomplish that goal. And so a lot of those things are parallels in your journey as an entrepreneur. So it was really, really impactful to listen to Chris' entire process. We also had Greg Herline there. We made an announcement that we just opened our Greg, I introduced everybody as my business partner in our Cap West Income Fund, which now will allow us to invest directly with you, which we're really excited about. So we opened that fund in the last few days. It'll actually close out. It's a $40 million fund that will officially close out. If we don't, a few months, it will officially close out, I believe, in September. And it's a fund that we can now finally, after all this process, we can finally invest directly with our clients. And so it's extremely, extremely exciting that that we can finally do all that, right? I mean, we've never been able to do that before. Justin Colby was up shortly thereafter, and Justin came in and crushed it. He talked about wholesaling and how to flip those properties, how to go and create profits that most people had never thought of creating. Again, we had our success panel up that morning. We had a lot of guests come in there and sharing exactly go and not only find the properties from day one, but go and flip the properties on day two and what the best strategies for it. Equally, we going on who Stan is our subject matter expert, our professor, if you will, inside of our academy for our rehab mastery course. He and his wife, a lot of people that were interested in that and what that project management looks like and what that entire process looks like. We broke all that down and we showed exactly how that's done. Sean Terry also did an entire presentation on identifying personalities and how to work with different types of sellers, identify what they're trying to do, and to create the best situation to deal with them. This Saturday night, we had our second keynote, and that was Frank McKinney. And Frank, to say the least, crushed it. He was amazing. Frank, if you don't know who Frank McKinney is, Frank is a real estate rock star in every sense of that word. He literally looks like a rock star. This is a guy that, comes out to Van Halen, has got the Van Halen hair, he's got the Van Halen look, and he has got an amazing heart of gold and has changed the lives of thousands and thousands of people. He's not a guru. He's a guy that builds the biggest spec houses in the world, some of the biggest spec houses in the world, so that he can turn around and take the profits from those and has dedicated his life into building the smallest spec houses in the world, where he can build a house for $4,000 in Haiti and build a village for those in need. And so in that process, Frank shared his entire journey, right? How he became this amazing builder, an architect, an artist down in South Florida, but equally how his journey by his entrepreneurial journey led him down many other journeys and many other paths of, becoming a massive philanthropist and building 25 villages down in Haiti, as well as being an ultra marathon runner who's completed the Badwater Ultra Marathon, I believe 7 out of 10 times. Just a really, really inspiring person. And when you're looking for somebody that can help mentally unlock what's going on in between your ears so that you'll get the hell out of your own way and just go off and make big shit happen, this is a guy that again, between him and all the other speakers, and Grant and Elena and Chris Clothier, myself and Justin and Sean, and when you surround yourself with people like that, the impossible seems possible really, really quick. These little, bullshit problems that many of you've got going on suddenly kind of just fade away because you're like, man, my problems aren't big enough. And that was one of the things that Grant said that I thought was great, right? I want to trade in my small problems for big problems. I think that's just a really powerful way to think. That we get so caught up in all this negative, dumb shit that we forget that, man, how great would it be to be worried about big stuff? Like Frank does. How do you go build a village for $250,000 in Haiti? How do you go get people and inspire them and get them to stand up and raise their hand and say, I want to participate and raise money for Haiti? How do you do that? Well, he did it. At the event, it was one of the best photos that came out of the event was somebody took a picture where there was a mad rush to the back table. Now, if you've ever been to a real estate event, you know what that normally means. It normally means somebody's buying something back there. But it was exactly opposite of that. There were a bunch of people back there giving. The last I heard that basically all those people at the back had given to Frank and the boardroom village that we're trying to build down there, the Real Estate Worldwide boardroom village, gave $45,000 of their hard-earned dollars away to just support that cause and to build the village. We also announced that we were going to support it through our own donations and through a percentage of sales that we were doing over the weekend. So it was really, really an amazing, cool experience there on Saturday night to kind of raise a bunch of money and raise a bunch of awareness. And over the course of the next few weeks, maybe even the next, or a few months, or even over the course of the next few weeks, we will get all that money raised. Our goal is to raise $240,000 ASAP, as fast as we can, to go get this village built down in Haiti. It's going to be a total of 50 homes. as well as a community center. It's completely self-sustainable. Comes, I mean, with the food, the well, the water, everything. It's all there for them. So it's a really, really, really cool experience. When you do that, by the way, you turn it off.
I didn't. It just said it was ending. I just hit OK.
So you killed it.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't say okay, obviously, right? Yeah, perfect timing.
Okay, I'm back off.
Okay, so obviously, needless to say, this is our, we're trying to, our new software to make all this happen, and so naturally we got to test and figure this shit out, but we're getting there. We'll figure it out, so hopefully everybody's back with us, or will be back with us here shortly. I'm gonna wait for people to come on. All right. Okay, so let's talk again. Let's talk about now day 3. What happened on day 3? Because our entire point of doing the Find and Flip Summit was, it isn't a 1-day event, it isn't a 2-day, it's a 3-day event, right? And it's always interesting to me, the dynamic of a 3-day event, because you can watch the crescendo, right? First day, second day, third day, it goes like this. Which I tell people this all the time, and again, most don't believe me, but it's just true. You can actually count on everyone's mediocrity, right? And so what I mean by that is that there are certainly a lot of people that, you know, I had to get out for this reason or that reason. I know there's a lot of travel and what have you, but there are other people that they didn't have to do any of that, and they just kind of gave up. They were out, right? I got a little bored, I got a little, whatever the case may be, I've got my fill and I got to move out. And so that is your competition. They will get bored, they will get distracted, something will come up in their life and they've got to move on, and you can count on it. And it's a beautiful thing, because if you can count on that and you know that's going to happen, then what that means is that in order for you to be amazing, you just got to stay in the game. You just got to stay in the game, and you got to keep grinding, and you got to keep pushing, and you can never give up. Because if you do that, chances are better than not that your competition will. And if they're willing to give up, they're willing to kind of let it go to the wayside. They're kind of just willing to just, hey man, it's day 3, I'm out. Or I had a rough night Saturday night, so Sunday morning I'm not going to show up. That's your competition. And it is filled with mediocrity. And I just love that about the world of business, is that there are very, very, very few people that'll play full out all the time. It just doesn't happen. And the people ask me all the time, what's the difference? How do you get to that next level? That's it, baby. I'm not that good. but I'll sure stick around and I'll work harder than everybody else. And so that was a really powerful lesson that we were able to illustrate right in that room. The room was basically cut in half by Sunday. And we expect that, but I wanted to share that valuable lesson because we see it all of the time in business. Okay, so real quick, last couple things here before I have to go. On the last day, we had two very, very powerful speakers that came up specifically on the last day. Garrett Gunderson. Garrett is a friend of mine. He owns the Wealth Factory, and he has become a powerhouse when it comes to showing businesses how to rip out all the profits, structure their businesses correctly from a tax perspective, from a business planning, from a cash flow perspective, and then ultimately put their business on steroids, right? Put their business in a situation to where it is primed for explosive growth. And he shared all of that while he was there. He's an amazing speaker. He had the opportunity to come in and speak to our whole group in the morning after a panel, and then he had the opportunity to do a breakout session as well with our VIP guests and our boardroom guests, and went even deeper with them and shared a lot of really cool stuff with them. He was a really, really, really powerful speaker that at the end of the day, you know, I think set the world on fire when it came to that. In the afternoon, we had Michael Burnoff come in, and if you've never seen Michael Burnoff speak, well, then you're missing out. He is largely, I mean, he's world renowned. He's largely considered one of the best sales trainers, as well as trainers on influence and the psychology of influence, and how to unlock not only what's going on in your own head that's preventing you from scaling your business and preventing you from implementing, but how to unlock what's going on around your team, right? And so I asked Michael to come in because he's a personal friend and share a lot of those secrets, share a lot of that information. And they both came in and crushed it, did an amazing job, shared everything. We pulled back the curtains on everything that they could. We had an additional panel up there on scaling. We had some guys out of Miami, as well as some guys out of Indianapolis, as well as out of New York and Riverside, as well as Sacramento. We had some really, really powerful boardroom members on every one of our panels that are real people, not paid speakers, not educators, not trainers, nothing to sell you. They were there simply for one thing, because this business, this boardroom, this company, Real Estate Worldwide, has meant so much to their success over the years that they felt a deep burning desire to come in and give back. And I'm so honored by that, right? That we had roughly, I think, 25 of them that showed up to pour their hearts out and share everything they could with our group. You know, somebody asked me early on when I was putting this whole thing together, are you crazy? You're going to put all of your, you're going to put all your people that have bought coaching and your software and your mastermind, you're going to actually put them in the room with other people that haven't? Nobody does. You shouldn't do that. Basically telling me that the product that they're selling and the business they're selling is shit, right? That they're in the business of selling shit, and they're in the business of doing it at such a level that they're uncomfortable putting the two together, because God forbid one talks to the other. And that's just not the business we're in. We're in the business of inspiring people, educating people, showing them what's really possible. And I'm very comfortable putting everybody in a room together. And I think it made for an amazing, amazing event. So I know some of the people that are on here were at the event. I know we've only got a handful of people, and I'm going to have to run here, but I wanted to do this live. We wanted to test this new software. I wanted to share with you what we're doing here, and then, or what this event was all about. And equally, I wanted to let you know that be on the lookout, because we're going to get the DVDs or the thumb drive with all of the video presentations on it out to you guys for the opportunity to purchase here in the next probably week to 10 days. So be on the lookout for it, and we will try this again in a couple days and see if we can do a live Q&A with you. See you. Take care. Bye.